Radio.
Un corito no tan sano.
Welcome back, guys. This is Shawn, the Party Man, Bow Radio Sports Grind. I'm here with my buddy Bryan from Orlando. What's up, dude?
Hey, how you doing there, bud? I appreciate you having me on the show today.
He's a die-hard Chargers fan, and I actually think they're pretty good. They just had some injuries, let them down this year. But that's not what we're going to talk about first. What we're going to talk about is it's NFL. We got the college football championships coming up. I want to know who's the best two teams in the National Football League right now and why, and who goes to the Super Bowl.
I guess we'll start off with the NFL. When I say Super Bowl, NFL, I mean, Eagles look good. I watched them last Sunday. It was a complete package.
Complete team.
Defense looks great. They built a great offense around Jalen Hurts, which I love. I feel like he's finally getting the respect that he deserves for whatever.
He got a receiver that's a beast, too, A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown looks good. Devontae Smith is solid. I got him on my fantasy. He always puts up some solid points.
Jalen Hurts, number one in fantasy.
Yeah,
the only thing is that the Eagles is their secondary. Other than that, you don't want to try to go toe-to-toe with like the Titans. For example, I talked about this on my one-on-one earlier. You have Derrick Henry, who's 6'2", 6'3", 260 pounds, however big that man is.
Yeah, he's huge.
They stopped running against him. You got to keep Jalen Hurts off the field.
Yeah.
Because when they play the Cowboys, and I hope that they play in the playoffs, and hopefully Dak can get over that hump because the Cowboys are really good as well. Only in my opinion, the only weakness is the Philly secondary.
Yeah.
That's their only weakness in the whole team.
They've done a great job building an offense around Jalen Hurts because I think that's what a lot of teams tend not to do. They draft a player and they try to create these offenses that don't work for them, but they're creating these offenses that work for Jalen Hurts, allow him to run the ball.
It doesn't always work out that way, but the guy probably squats the most on his whole damn team. He's probably one of the strongest guys.
Oh yeah, he's a big boy. I'm very excited for Jalen Hurts, and like I said,
that's the NFC. I think as well that the Eagles are going to go, but you never know. But as a contender, yes, they're definitely a top contender until Dak proves otherwise, because he's 1-3 in the playoffs his whole career. So is Josh Allen, but Josh Allen's played 2 years less. I just don't know if Dak's ready to get there. So that's a top team. Is that your top team in the NFC?
It's definitely my top team.
In the NFC?
Yes, in the NFC,
okay.
Obviously.
What do you think about AFC?
Well, you always have the wild card real quick. You never count out. I've been living on this earth for a while and watching football for a long time. And one thing I've learned, you never count out Tom Brady.
Oh,
so if he makes it to the playoffs, you never count out Tom Brady. That's always my thing. So if he could sneak in, which it looks like they might sneak into the playoffs.
No, they're going to get the playoffs.
Yeah, with that weak division, you never count out the playoffs.
And they might be playing the Cowboys in the first week if they do of the playoffs, because the Cowboys, I think, will finish the top wild card because I think the Eagles are going to win the NFC East.
Yeah, they're going to win it.
Then they would have to play the Bucs at home, which you never can count them out because Brady came back down by 13 and beat the Saints Monday night.
Yeah, I mean, it's Brady. You never count out Brady.
You can't count him out.
Never.
What do you think about the AFC?
AFC is a little bit more wide open. There's a lot of contenders. I mean, Kansas City, they just got beat by the Bengals last week. Patrick Mahomes is starting to turn into a Tom Brady where you can never count him out. Hence, last year playoffs against the Buffalo Bills, which was a crazy ending.
Oh my God, it was.
He pushed him off the field within like 10 seconds or something crazy like that. Yeah, so you can never count them out. Obviously, I'm a big Chargers fan. I really had high hopes for us this year. We can still sneak into the playoffs. We had a lot of injuries. I'm not really a big fan of the coach at all. I'm kind of liking this Sean Payton to LA Chargers rumor going on.
That'd be clutch.
That'd be really clutch, especially with the young gun Herbert back there. So we'll see what happens. But I would say AFC is definitely a little bit more wide open. So top two, really the top three. I would say Kansas City, Buffalo, Bengals. Those are really my top three teams.
I would agree. The Chiefs, they have the best quarterback in football.
Pound for pound.
The Bills have a really good quarterback. They've had a lot of injuries on defense. So, they're obviously right now, if it ended today, they would get the bye because now in NFL football, we only do one team from each conference with the bye. So they would get that bye today. Right. And then Cincy, Kansas City, for whatever reason, cannot beat Cincinnati. They haven't beat them in like 6 or 7 games in a row, something crazy like that.
Right, it's that weird thing.
So they can't beat them. I'm going with the Chiefs and the Eagles in the Super Bowl. That's my prediction.
I think that's a good one. I would argue and say probably like Chiefs and Eagles probably.
I like it. I mean,
AFC is a little bit more wide open, but I would You can't go wrong with that pick. So either
No.
Chiefs or Eagles, and maybe Buffalo, but Josh Allen, he just has that thing where he can't. Something about that big game.
Yeah, I mean, he's
something
won.
about that big game
like
for him.
1-3 in the playoffs or something.
Yeah,
like that.
just something about those big games for him. It's like that Buffalo bad luck. I grew up in the era when they lost 4 Super Bowls in a row. Yeah, so you just think about that: 4 Super Bowls in a row. 1 against the Giants, 1 against the Redskins, and 2 against the Cowboys.
So basically, the whole entire NFC East,
Yep.
They can't compete with the NFC East. So that was the NFL. So I want to move on to the NCAA, and I already know who I think is going to win because I'm glad that the NCAA is finally implementing. I believe it's a 12-team playoff in the next couple years.
16.
16.
Yeah, 16. Yep.
Okay, people will also see that these bottom feeding teams like TCU shouldn't be in it because you'll see once they get dominated here in the next couple weeks why schools like that shouldn't be in it. Who's going to win the NCAA championship and why? And what do you think about the other games?
I'm glad to see NCAA expanding. When I first started watching college football, they had coaching polls. It wasn't decided on the field. It was a popularity contest. Then they turned it to the BCS. Then they let a computer model decide the championship. So it's the one sport in the world that's not decided on the field. So it's great to see that they're expanding, especially I come from University of Central Florida, UCF, Go Knights. We had a nice 2-year run where we were undefeated. 1 year we were undefeated. We beat Auburn. And we're like, we don't get a chance to play for a championship. And we won all our games, and we beat the top school, Auburn, who beat Alabama, in which Alabama won the national championship that year.
That is very unfair because Utah was a few years back, had the same thing.
Correct,
They went undefeated. We can put that to rest here in the next couple of years and see if these small school divisions are actually really that good because we didn't get to see that. And maybe some of them are because Patrick Mahomes-esque quarterback for one of these smaller teams, and that's all sometimes it really takes at that level. And we'll see what happens. So I'm excited for it as well.
Yeah, what was that years ago? That amazing game, Boise State versus Oklahoma.
Yeah,
one of the greatest games of all time.
You talk about Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator for the Cowboys.
Exactly.
Now, right?
Yeah, exactly. Adrian Peterson was playing with Oklahoma, and you saw how amazing that game was, and they beat Oklahoma.
Yeah,
they were undefeated. So you didn't get to see. Maybe that team could have won a national championship. Maybe my UCF Knights could have won a national championship that year. Those Utah teams with Alex Smith. I mean, the list goes on, of those small stature schools that went undefeated and just didn't get the love that they deserve. But to answer your question, I mean, it looks like maybe Michigan. I mean, Michigan looks like
Michigan's gonna win it all.
Yeah, they look like the hot team right now.
Okay, small 10, huh?
Yeah, the hot
it's
team.
not the small 10; it's the Big 10. It's just I don't see any of these Big 10 teams beating any of these powerhouses.
So who do you think?
Georgia, hands down, versus Michigan, because Michigan's going to beat TCU, Texas Christian University. Shouldn't even be in this.
Why not?
They're from the small 12. They lost to Kansas State.
But that was the only loss.
They play from a weak. I think they're going to punch them right in the mouth. The only thing I will agree with Bryan about here is Michigan does play that smash mouth football, and they are pretty good. They have a pretty good coach, and they've been good for a couple years.
Yeah.
I just don't see him winning. I don't know what the spread will be because obviously we're not there yet. I would assume between 8 and 10 points for Georgia. I mean, obviously you have to let TCU in because they only lost one game and it was the Big 12 championship.
Right.
So you have to let them in. You're not going to let Alabama in with 2 losses. With this current process, you're not going to let them in. They're not that good.
Right.
And that's another thing we'll get in, like we talked previously, 16 team or 12, whatever it is, that's going to be great for fans and for money and college football.
People love that. People love to see the small school take down Alabama or Ohio State. People love to. We want to see this. So Alabama definitely deserves to be in the playoffs. Yeah, they lost 2 games, but but on paper they're the better team. Probably the best team on paper. But
yeah, they're gonna get the break speed off them by Michigan in the semis. I think Georgia's going to win. Bryan thinks Michigan's going to win. We'll in the NBA, which I haven't really watched a lot of this year. Bryan's a big NBA fan. So I got this question. Is LeBron just playing the NBA for accolades now? Because you and I both know he won't win one of these championships with this current shitty Lakers roster. And also, who's the best NBA team this year?
I would say the better of the teams are, the Bucks always look good. I mean, Giannis to me is the best player in the league.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they've done a phenomenal job.
Dominant player.
Yeah, just building a team around him. So Giannis looks good. I mean, Suns look solid. Warriors have been hurt. They've been kind of
hurt.
sucking. Yeah, that dynasty's looking like it might be coming to a close.
to a close, yeah.
Nets look okay. I mean, like I said, it's like that. It's still the first quarter of basketball. I mean, actually, the Lakers actually have been good the last couple of games.
We'll see, though. But, back to the question, do you think, LeBron is still playing for the accolades? Or?
I mean, LeBron's still balling. I mean, he's definitely a top 20 player. But the team is he on? Can they win a championship? As of right now, I don't see it.
I don't see it either.
But like I said, basketball is a very long season, and it's only in the first quarter. And it looks like the last couple of games, the Lakers have been hitting their stride a little bit. So you can't really count them out just yet. We got to wait until really the trade deadline, see what happens with that. And basketball really doesn't get real until after the All-Star break anday. And then that's when the engines start really turning on. And
but here's the thing. I'm gonna jump into the next one. Bryan's more the basketball guy than I am. He still owes me a gambling debt. He took the Celtics. I took the Warriors. Obviously, I won. Why don't friends pay friends back in gambling debts?
In my case, you got to. Well, we always have a double or nothing clause, and I was like, you got at least
6 months later, though.
Yeah, because I thought about it. It's like you at least got to give. It's just like Vegas. You got to give that person a chance to win their money back. Now, once you double it up, and it's all said and done, then yeah.
Sounds like Andre that owes me a bet from 12 months ago. I don't
Did
know.
you allow him to double it up, though?
He's like, hey, man, we're killing the Browns right now. I'll take the Arizona Cardinals going to the Super Bowl. I was like, oh, really? Okay, so you're giving me the field. The Rams won the division. I didn't think the Rams were going to win the Super Bowl, but they did. Maybe we can double it up or something, because there's another question I'm going to ask here. Is Odell Beckham Jr. still relevant, and what team should sign him if he's healthier?
I mean, he put up solid numbers with the Rams, so definitely if he's healed properly and he's back in the game, so yeah, he's definitely relevant. It looks like he was hanging out with the Cowboys, I believe, at a Mavericks game, so he was hanging out with the Cowboys not too long ago. Did like him. Chargers had a little wide receiver injury bug, but it looks like they're solid on that end. So the rumors are the Cowboys. That's kind of what the rumors have been. The Giants, that's somebody else that's kind of been rumored for him to go back to, because the Giants are looking pretty solid this year. He can go with any team, and Odell's a great player. He's never got in trouble.
He's not like AB.
Yeah, he's definitely, yeah. I mean, he's a little showboaty. I mean, I like that. It's a little,
that's fine.
Yeah, but he's never, when it comes to the love of the game, you can tell he's passionate. He's never done anything crazy on the field, disrespected teammates or anything like that. So I believe any team you go to, he'll be a great asset.
I can see that happening. I also was heard that he told that he might not be able to come back till mid-January, puts you like already into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And by that point, obviously, if you're making a run, you want a player like that on your team, because the Super Bowl is not going to be until February. You said he got mature. Is he going to mess up the chemistry of a locker room?
Yeah, it's always
the Cowboys have a really good chemistry right now, and so these other teams. If he still has that vertical threat or that route threat, because he can beat you on any route, you take away from somebody like CeeDee Lamb for the Cowboys, you're in trouble, because that guy's a beast. God, if he went to the Chiefs, that would be insane. I'm not saying he's not rumored to go there, but the guy still obviously has talent, and we'll see if his injuries come through, because he had a pretty serious injury in the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
He slipped on the paint on the 50-yard line. But so the FIFA World Cup's going on right now. There's, estimated like $2 billion going to be gambled from Americans, which is a lot of money. So my next question is, the FIFA World Cup, who wins and why? It's sad our USA lost. They played really good defense. They won 1-0. They tied against Wales. They tied against England, and they lost 3-1 against the Netherlands. Do you think in 2026, also the next part of that question is, they'll be relevant, because they got some young guys? They were the youngest guys in the FIFA World Cup this year. So basically, that's my question: who wins the FIFA World Cup, and is USA relevant?
Personally, I don't think we'll ever be that relevant in soccer.
Right?
But I'm gonna tell you why. The best athletes don't play soccer.
Right.
The best athletes either play basketball, football, baseball. Kind of those are the top three American sports. So you got to look at most countries. Their top athletes play soccer. That's what they're geared towards. Unless you're in Dominican Republic, is baseball down here.
Yeah.
But in most Latin countries, soccer is number one. So for us, America, I mean, soccer is down on the list. I'm not a soccer fan by no stretch of imagination, but I watch
it once every 4 years.
Yeah, I watch it every 4 years, and I watch the games and stuff. But you could tell when watching the Wales game, they were just better athletically. Bigger guys, the goalies, 6'7",
6'8".
Yeah, who do we lose to?
We lost to the
Netherlands.
Dutch.
They're just better athletes. They were bigger.
They could finish.
Yeah, and they were faster.
Americans couldn't finish. We had opportunities all tournament. We just couldn't finish.
Exactly, and you could just tell just athletically they were just better athletically because those are the best athletes of that country that are playing there. So I don't think we're ever going to be relevant. Maybe one day, maybe we'll get lucky, but I don't see it. When I watched the game, I didn't see like, oh my goodness, another 4 years, these guys are going to be awesome. I didn't get that feeling. I just think that we play with a lot of heart, a lot of passion. That's what Americans do. But skill-wise, other countries are way better. It's not even close.
Who do you think is going to win, though?
I really can't even tell you.
Just shoot in the dark.
I mean, Argentina looks good. I mean, you got Messi out there that's balling.
Brazil.
So, I mean, Portugal looks good. I mean, for them to sit down Ronaldo and still ball out like that.
6-1.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, if we beat a team 6-1, that's pretty hardcore.
Pretty wild. If you're in American sports, most people play, fantasy football. So I'm going to ask him this question. Bryan's on the brink of making the playoffs. He has a really good squad. I fucked up and I traded Tony Pollard, who's having a hell of a year for Williams, Jamal Williams from the Lions.
Jamal Williams has been solid.
No, he's solid. I mean, but Pollard has been balling out, so it might carry his team over the top. The thing is, he has to win this week to get the 6th and final seed. I have to win to get the bye to the 2nd seed, which is huge in fantasy football, whether you get a first or second team bye. Our pot's at $1,350, $1,350. I was going to ask him this. If you make the playoffs, sir, you win, or if I win, we just split it down the middle, $675 each.
Well, I mean, we only win money if we get into the championship. Well,
and actually,
you want to be able to split.
We can get in the championship game because we'll be in the same bracket.
Since week 3, it's been win-loss, 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 win-loss. So technically, if I follow the trend, I'm supposed to lose this week. But
the only high score of the week I had was week 1. I beat you, and then I beat you last week. Or the week before. Shoe Warrior last week.
Yeah.
She's got a really good team, too. If Bryan does win this week, and I win this week, then he's going to have to play Shoe Warrior, who has a dominant team.
I did blow her out, though.
Well, you beat her by 17. The thing is, he
scored 200.
He scored like 194. She scored 178. That's not a blowout. They scored the 2 highest scores of the week. So you would more than likely have to play her, and then if I get the bye, one of y'all have to play me.
Even if I lose, I can still win. I still get in because the other 2 players that are 6 or 7, they have to lose too. So so it's like if I win, I'm in. If I lose, then the other 2 teams need to lose, and then I'll be in.
This would be a question I'll ask him on Tuesday of next week if he wants to split the pot, because sometimes it works out. I was in a league one year, and a buddy of mine, he took the opt out, and it worked out for him because he actually lost the game. I'd rather take some money than not. It's fantasy football.
So I mean, we're in Dominican Republic. There's a big game between the Eagles and the Tigers last night.
Oh, Lisa, yeah.
Yeah. So that was a huge game, actually. My wife, shout out to the wife. She's a big Eagles fan. Her family is an Eagles fan. So we actually watched the game last night, and it was a good game. It went down to the 9th inning. They were tied 1-1, and 2 outs left, and the Tigers brought it home. So that was a real exciting matchup.
The Eagles, what city is that?
I believe Santiago. Or
the yellow team?
Yeah, I believe they're Santiago, yeah.
Okay, I think they're pretty good.
Or the North, yeah.
I think they're pretty good this year.
Yeah, I think this was like the game before the playoffs or whatnot. So if you haven't been to a Dominican baseball game here, it's fun. It's a lot different from American baseball. Totally. It's American football energy at a baseball game. Let's put it that way.
And like Bryan said, it's like no other because you got cheerleaders, people banging on stuff, screaming. It's just a different atmosphere. Besides the World Series, there's nothing like compared to the World Series. That's what we got going on sports. Man, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate Bryan for coming on the show.
Appreciate
having a drink with me.
I get it.
Shawn the Party Man, Bow Radio, Sports Grind. Till next time.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Un corito no tan sano.
Yo, disfruta el sabor de siempre con harina de maíz mazorca y dale, 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 dale. La vuelta al plato. Cocina arepa, también empanada. Juega con tus hijos, ríe con tus panas. Disfruta en familia, una cocinada. En tu mesa la silla nunca tan contada. Disfruta el sabor de siempre con harina de maíz mazorca y dale, 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 dale. La vuelta al plato. Siempre felices, siempre contento. Dale la vuelta a todo momento. Cocina algo rico, algún invento. Este es tu día, yo lo presiento.
Tu harina de maíz mazorca de siempre, ahora con nueva imagen.
Para cosechar lanzadores hay que sembrar disciplina. Para cosechar jonroneros hay que sembrar honestidad. Para cosechar grandes ligas hay que sembrar valores. Porque los grandes ligas no crecen en el monte, se cultivan. Así como el mejor arroz. Arroz La Garza, patrocinadores de nuestros próximos grandes ligas.
Ahora vamos a hidratarnos con agua cristal en su nueva presentación de Tetra Pak. Agua cristal, menos plástico, más vida. Comparte, recuerda darnos tu like y activar la campanita para notificaciones.